Hi guys, it's me, Susan. We're on day 41 of the Cancer Club. I'm happy to see you all. It's um, sort of late afternoon on Saturday. As you remember, my favorite day. Here's Jolie here for a little while. She probably won't stick around. She'll go looking for some trouble to get in. Um, so my good spirits and my good mood from last night seems to continue. I'm really happy about that. I'm starting to think maybe all through last week was still kind of remnants of the chemo. As when I talked about coming home and crashing and everything, I still did that last night, not quite as severely as the night before. Um, but then, I don't know, I was in a pretty good mood, and then this morning I woke up in a great mood. Um, Very proactive and positive, and much more energy than I've had. Took Jolie on a big walk, and we're going to go on another one just after I finish now. So I'm real happy about that. I've still got the radiation side effects that I'm working with, but even they don't seem. When you feel good emotionally, when you feel like you're in a good mood, other stuff doesn't bother you as much. It seems to me. I mean, it's bothering me, but I don't, not that badly. So I'll stick with that as long as I can. One thing, thank you all again for your comments. I really appreciate them. As you saw, if you looked on the video from yesterday, my banjo teacher George caught me and made sure I knew that he was watching, and I appreciate that, George. I swear I am going to practice my banjo today since it is Saturday and I don't have any, and I feel good and I have no other excuses and I have time. So that's cool. Oh, one other thing I wanted to say to commenters, or if some people are catching up on the videos, some people who hadn't watched any and want to look at them in order. Um, one of the people I work with said, I have to do it that way. I'm just a little OCD. I have to start from the beginning, and I'm going in groups of 5 and watching 5 every day. But the question came up as to if you want to leave a comment on an earlier video, is there any point in doing that? And certainly as far as I'm concerned, that's great. I'm notified by email every time someone leaves a comment on any of the videos. So I will definitely see it. And the new people that are coming on board and watching them kind of retroactively, they will definitely see it too. Maybe people who've already watched it, certainly, I don't think they'll go back and watch it again. But I'll know for sure. So all comments are appreciated. Some people are figuring out how to leave them and haven't been able to for a while, so that's great. Got a comment on last night's video that included a great sounding soup recipe. So if you want to check that out, that's on the comments for day number 40. Chicken enchilada crockpot soup sounds really good, and when I go to the store later, I'm probably going to buy the stuff and try it out. Okay, as far as what I wanted to talk to you about today, other than, telling you I'm doing great, this is not going to be the day I go into the details about my symptoms. I think I'm going to wait on that until after all my radiation is over with next Tuesday. But I decided I wanted to talk about letting people be who they are, or accepting people as they are, because relationship-wise, that's probably one of the biggest sources of suffering and drama that there is. When we have a person, we care about them, or they're a friend, but we want them to be a certain way, I guess that agrees with us, or that gives us what we need, and they just won't do it, or they just keep on, you might call it disappointing you, but the disappointment is something of your creation, I think, or at least most of it. I mean, people will disappoint you. That's one of the realities of life that we can't change, but that's a momentary feeling that then requires you or points you in the direction of adjusting your expectations of that person. If someone, for instance, after 2 or 3 times you realize that they're chronically late, they make an agreement to show up at a certain time and they're always late, that can be disappointing, but then you adjust your agreement, you adjust your expectation, you don't make any more plans to meet at a certain time, or you assume they'll be late. I mean, there are lots of ways to work with that so it doesn't become a habitual, chronic emotional drama with people. It's very hard to do when we think we know best and we think if only they would be this way, they would be so much happier. A few of the people that I work with, and me myself, I go through that a lot. It's like, I remember going through that with my mother. Conversations and visits with her would be very stressful because I would continually be trying to improve her. I think my dad did this too. Making suggestions, bringing stuff that I thought she would be interested in, and she wasn't. She didn't want the suggestions. I think she probably felt like, why don't you all just leave me alone and let me do what I want to do? And once I finally figured that out and started doing that and just let her, I mean, I think there was probably a period of sadness, you know, when I kind of realized, okay, she's not who I want her to be, but who am I to decide who she should be? That's just a need of mine. Let's just deal with who she is. We got along much, much better. It was much more relaxing to be around her because I didn't always compare her to the person that I wished that she would be or thought she should be, if only she had sense enough to listen to my wonderful suggestions. And you might try that, especially, that works a lot with children too, especially your own children. Parents seem to really worry a lot when their kids act in ways that the parents have decided are going to not be good for them in the future, or, you know, I'll never forget one time I had a dad and his 14-year-old son in the office, and the dad was kind of ranting on and on about how the kid should really spend more time doing his homework and he's not going to get a good job. Really, literally saying he's not going to be able to get a good job, he's not going to be able to take care of himself in life. And the kid, who's kind of lying on the couch in my office, he says, "Dad, I just want to have fun, you know? I'm sorry, that I just want to have a good time." Now, I understand, you know, we have laws, we make kids go to school, and you know, they do at some point have to do their work and everything. But it was so interesting to me to see the possibly unnecessary tension that took place between these two because of the expectations of one and the other's determination, if not stubborn determination. I'm going to be who I am, and the more you tell me not to be, the more I'm going to be who I am. I've had that with friends too. Friends who, let's say, maybe are kind of, in my opinion, kind of negative or whiny or depressed, I guess. And when I spent a lot of time trying to cheer them up or trying to make suggestions or tell them, you know, how they could look at things differently, I always ended up frustrated. I think they probably ended up more depressed because I'm sort of like saying, you know, you should be some other way. Granted, they were complaining. They said they were suffering. But it's not my job to fix them. They weren't asking me to fix them. And even if they had, I think I would have had to really, I would be better off realizing that I can't. I can maybe empathize, maybe, I don't know, maybe wish them well and hope they get it figured out. But the trying to persuade, convince, cajole, plead with someone to be the way you want them to be is a recipe for disaster and disappointment, sadness on both sides. So I'm not sure. Well, I guess that came to me today because of a few interactions with a couple of friends, several different friends, where I had to realize that that's part of what I have been doing in the past, and I changed that, and in the last day or two, and it feels so much better. It feels like a relief, like I can just, the relationship, the knots, the tension in the relationship just undid because of something that I changed in my own mind, having to do with expectations and requirements of how people need to be in order for me to feel, I don't know, feel effective or good or whatever, some need that I have that I'm imposing on them. So that was really wonderful to realize that. It feels like it can make a lot of relationships. It certainly helped me in my work because when there are times that I'll realize that I'm almost arguing with one of the people that I work with, sort of trying to convince them why they should think differently than how they do. And that is not my job, and it doesn't help them. So it's been a great insight. You might just notice in your own relationships when that might be happening, when you're not really listening to what the other person's saying about what they feel. You're kind of waiting for them to be finished so you can say, yes, but you really should feel this way, or it really is more true this way. Might be enlightening to see how often we create tension in our relationships that way. Okay, so there I am over 10 minutes again. I just can't, I'm sorry. I just can't help it. I just like talking. Sorry. Hope you got something out of that. It just felt to me like a real big revelation and a kind of real happy awareness and understanding that I wanted to share with you all. So have a great Saturday evening. I plan to. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but it's probably going to be around the old homestead here. Maybe watch a movie and snuggle up with Jolie. And hope you all have a great time tonight and tomorrow. And I will be back again tomorrow with the Cancer Club. In the meantime, live well, laugh often, and love much. And I love you all. See you tomorrow. Bye.